maybe like a mindset shift. One mindset shift for me, um, you know, being married, having kids, being involved in church, running a business, that can kind of feel like a cycle where you don't you don't always know when you're making progress and when you're just getting up and doing the same thing. I think just asking myself the question, am I being faithful to what God has called me to? So a mindset shift of not just accomplishing goals, but a shift of thinking about, am I being faithful to what God has called me to? And I think that would be maybe a mindset shift that is kind of taken place to some extent. And then I think maybe one habit would be trying to be thoughtful in the content that I take in particular. I mean, and guys that I coached and that knew me, they might laugh when I say social media, because they realized that was not my strong suit. But the habit of taking in content that is provides a biblical perspective on life, I think that is important. So like, get up in the morning, first is my first response to go check my email for work, or is it to check the news, or is it social media, or is it am I reading the Bible? Am I, if I have 5 or 10 minutes, do I consistently use that? And again, I'm not saying you can never look at other things, but every chance I get, am I just indulging or um, doing things that kind of take my mind off of life, or am I actually saying, I have 5 or 10 minutes? What are some articles on desiring God that have been recently posted, and is there anything that might be beneficial for me to read or to look at? So I think a habit of trying to take in content that provides biblical perspective on life is something um, that has been a helpful thing for me as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think um, there's a book. I think I've may have mentioned it before, not in here, but it's called Atomic Habits. And so for a lot of people, I think that's a great habit to get into. And what's the first thing that you do when you wake up? You have good things, kind of neutral habits, and then you have bad habits. So defining what your goals are and how you want to define your life and start your morning, and then making them happen, I think is huge. Something that I'm trying to get in the habit of now that my wife and I we're working out in the morning, because that's the time that we have to be able to do that. So I've been trying to get in the habit of, as soon as she comes into the garage where our little gym setup is, before we do anything, we pray. It's something short, and I'm not going to say that it's every time, because it's usually pretty early in the morning, so neither of us are really awake. But trying to, like you said, start our mornings off right. We're not sitting down and browsing emails or Instagram. Our first thoughts are essentially wake up, pray, start our bodies off with activity, and then we're off to a good start. So I think those habits are key, and in that book, at least so far, has been a great influence in making those habits.